mi amigo.
Oh, he's gone red. Look at that. The devil man himself. Oh, no, he's gone purple. He looks like something out Willy Wonka now.
Mi amigo el diablo.
Yeah, welcome to our Halloween special. I was going to do a spooky voice, but I forgot to push the button, so...
Welcome to our Halloween special. That wasn't even a scary one.
But yeah, how is everybody? We've got no idea what we're going to talk about tonight, so we're just going to go with it. But Halloween, I hope
a lot of edits.
There's going to be a lot of editing, so this might be out by Halloween 2025.
That's all right. It's still a Halloween special, even if it is 2 years away.
Yeah, we can always put it out at Christmas. just
why
to be
not?
different.
We're old enough.
Spooky Santa. So what?
Zombie Santa.
So we've been flipping around trying to come up with different ideas for tonight. We did spooky movies last year, and do you think any one of us could find something to really agree on that was suitably spooky enough and not like our usual thing for Halloween? No. So it's going to be a little bit of everything tonight. And I think we'll start off with Fernando, because Fernando said he had a couple of cool spooky stories. I'm going to put him on the spot now, see if he can remember them.
That foul.
So have you got something for us, Fernando, to get us started?
Well, one of the, I guess you could say one of the subjects that I was thinking about, is sharing real life true events, scary stories from people from I guess from Reddit, or from people just sharing their experiences.
Yeah.
Do you guys want to hear one?
Go on.
I wish I could have changed the voice. Do you guys want to hear one?
You can always do it in a creepy kiddie type.
Do you guys want to hear one?
Let's start with this one. So, here, it starts off like this. This is a weird post.
Well, is that how it starts off?
This is a weird post. So, as we all know, we all been victims of people, once you start sharing your paranormal experiences, people would consider you weird. So,
yeah,
just putting it out there. It's just a weird post. But I'm fairly sure my house is haunted, and I want to see about others having similar experiences. This house was built in 1954, and I moved in about 2.5 years ago. I live alone with my dog. Things started happening within a few weeks of moving in. Lights turning on and off, doors closing on their own, etc. One night, I was sitting at the kitchen island eating dinner, and a hand grabbed my torso.
Okay.
Have you guys ever had any...
What, a hand grabbed my torso?
Gary's got receipts for 3.
Oh my god. Now, my question is, have you guys ever been touched, or something physical while being out there? Like,
I've been pulled down to the ground by something.
By a backpack.
By a neck chain.
I've seen you pulled down by a backpack as well.
And yeah, that yes, you were there for that one, weren't you? Yeah, got attacked on an investigation
at Fairbridge.
Where at?
Few different
non-disclosed locations.
Few different locations.
Oh, you gotta love those undisclosed locations. I've been to a few. It's pretty good. I also randomly smell cigarette smoke or a strong perfume from time to time. My guest bedroom is carpeted, and you can easily see if someone has walked across the carpet. But often, the blinds will be randomly open after I have closed them, with no visible footprints on the carpets. My mom came to visit and said that she was getting ready in the morning when someone loudly said her name. My best friend was getting ready one morning in that same room, and he said he backed up into a person, but nobody was there. They each told me this on their own. I never mentioned that I thought the house was haunted to them. Today, my AirPods case randomly flew across the kitchen counter. I know this sounds kind of ridiculous, but I really think this place is haunted. I'm wondering if anyone has experienced something similar or how they live with it. I don't feel threatened or unsafe, but it's just weird. Sounds like a nice place for us to go check out, huh? And they actually, she lives in a pretty nice. This person actually lives in a pretty nice house.
Do you want me to tell you something which is still a bit quiet at the moment, so it's probably not going to be once this goes to air, but I was approached by somebody here locally who works in a hospital that has a closed off wing that has stuff going on, and I said, "Ooh, do you think you could get us in?" And the question was, let's have a chat and I'll see what I can do. So can you imagine that, getting into an active place like that? You can imagine the sort of stuff that you'll get. I mean, they're still active. The hospital is still active in other parts now, and it would be super cool to see what's going on there. But going back to said thing, we were in the middle of an investigation. We'll go to the first one anyway, the one I was telling you about with the neck chain. And it was
Pardon me.
it was a you're right there.
I just about blew my eyes out my head, but yeah, we're good.
So I did see your ears must pop a little bit, but
Yeah, my eyeballs went.
For everybody else, it's not special effects. It was actually Jeremy's eyes going boom, Rodney Dangerfield style. But yeah, we were investigating this place, and I was staying in the old doctor's quarters, and he didn't like me being there. So about 3:30 in the morning, which is an hour that most people synonymously say is a dark hour, but I don't put much into that because different locations are active at different times and everything. I remember looking in the corner of the room because I was in a sleeping bag on the bed, and in the far corner of the room it got darker than dark, and I knew something was manifesting. So I unzipped the sleeping bag, and I sort of sat up first, and I was like, yeah, this thing is still manifesting. The darkness was spreading. I got up to go to the door to open the door, and something actually grabbed me from behind and pulled backwards, and I went flat over the back of the bed. Shit, I'm out, because I was sort of, when you're half asleep, it's more startled than spooky. But I went to open the door, and as I opened the door, a glass flew at me, and that smashed on the floor, and a broom flew at me as well. So I don't know where they came from, but I'm barefoot, so a glass smashing on the floor could have been pretty dangerous. And then I went running around the other side where one of the other investigators was supposed to be staying. But what had happened is he'd had stuff happen, and he chickened out, and he went to stay in a completely different building where everybody else was settled, because I wanted to stay in the really haunted part. And it turns out I'd spent the night in there pretty much by myself. Everybody else had chickened out and went to a completely different building. I ended up going back after my heart rate came down under 200, and spent the rest of the night in there, and not much happened after that. But that's the first real actual paranormal attack that's happened on me. I've had a couple of others, but that was probably the biggest, and that's the one that sticks in my head the most, because obviously up to that point, I've always said to Jeremy and to everybody, when I do a paranormal investigation, or if I do a public hunt, I'll say the best place to be is what I call a healthy skeptic, where you've got to be skeptical of everything that happens, but don't be so closed off that you can't accept it when you can't come up with a rational explanation for something that's happened, or somebody else can't come up. But if it is rational, you have to accept that and then just move on. But
That's called the unexplained.
Yeah, well, there's no rational explanation for what happened to me, because there was nobody else there, nobody else even in the building, and these things flew at me. I'm talking about this broom flew 5 or 6 feet behind me, and it came from 2 or 3 feet in front of me. So it wasn't just it fell over; it flew. It was full blown in the air, and because nobody else was there, there's no explanation for that, and I can't explain that. There wasn't a tornado going through that was whipping shit up. It was
Drugs.
you know me, I don't do any of that sort of stuff. But yeah, so that was the first time I actually got attacked. And we actually did a TV show over here, 2009 I think we shot this TV show. It was not paranormal related, but it was a tech show where they was demonstrating how equipment for a certain field can be used in a different field, and they were looking at the paranormal in this situation. So we had thermal imaging cameras, we had infrared cameras, we had all these different bits and pieces that we're using. So that's what the TV show was all about. So we were talking about all this stuff, and we had a really cool haunted location at the back of York, which is a notoriously haunted town here in Western Australia. And we had a lot of activity. In fact, the TV show's around somewhere. I think parts of it are on YouTube, but I've got the DVD of the whole thing. And in one of the EVP sessions, we actually picked up a spirit going, "F you, Gary." They know me they knew me by name, so I thought that was cool. I mean, I some people will go, "That's a bit spooky," but they know me by name there, so that I thought, I'm getting well known. I don't know if that's a good thing or a bad thing, but I've had some very, very interesting experiences. And then Jeremy led to that one when we were out in Jarradale, and there was a lot of stuff happening that night, wasn't there? And Jeremy
Places
witnessed
shall
it.
be burnt to the ground. Oh no, not that one. No, I'm thinking somewhere else. It's all right. No,
Oh, are you thinking of the other one, the cabin?
Yes.
Yeah. Twice we've been
That place
there,
should be.
and twice it's
That's interesting.
No, the one at the Jarradale though, at the cemetery. That's. Yeah.
the
What about
interest.
you, Jeremy? Were you ever?
I've been kicked, choked, scratched, and that was just before we left the house. No.
Talking about paranormal, man.
Paranoid, paranormal, same difference. No. I've had some doozies. Yep.
He doesn't want to go any further than that.
No, not really. It's just because I expect it to some extent, because not that I'm rude. I'm straight up, straightforward if I'm trying to communicate with them.
Yeah.
And if I think they're a piece of shit, I will tell them the exact same thing.
Yeah.
And a lot of them don't like it. But, yeah, that church in that other place that we had been, where we stayed in the cabins,
Yep.
some words were mentioned about, how to put this in a podcast-friendly way, certain people that do things to children that aren't right.
Kitty fiddling.
And yes. Chomos. And I called it out on that, and then I just felt this big smack and heavy hand to the back of my neck, and I actually had 3 straight down the side of my neck.
And you know what 3 represents.
Hey, I'm still standing. We're good.
Yep.
But that was, mind you, in saying that, that was the same night that the same day that we had seen the rope for the bell
Yep.
swing and get pulled.
We've got that on video.
Which I've got that footage
Yeah.
somewhere. Yeah, I mean, like you go to one of the other spots that we frequent, and you rev this guy up because he's an absolute coward
I know.
and he likes the attention.
know.
And I've been choked, I've been hit in the chest, I've been pushed away, I've been pushed in the ribs, hit. He doesn't like people, or he likes people knowing his name. He doesn't like people knowing exactly what he had done and how much of a coward he is.
And we're not going to name this location because we're actually going there for a public hunt this weekend.
Ooh.
This weekend, yes, this weekend.
Yeah.
Got me dates mixed.
Yeah.
Oh, you guys are lucky. You guys-
I can't guarantee that I'll be able to hold my tongue, but hey, let's see what happens.
Oh, crap. Shouldn't have said anything.
Jeremy holding his tongue? No.
No, that doesn't happen much. It really doesn't.
All right, I've got
See,
one.
that's funny because
I've got one for you both. Have you ever seen a full-blown shadow person in an investigation?
Yes.
you know,
Fernando
how
said-
can I say this? I feel like I have. I don't know if that makes any sense to you guys.
I know what you're saying,
Sure.
but I'm talking about actually seeing.
You can't identify as seeing a shadow person.
Jeremy.
What?
We're going into a naughty
I
territory.
mean,
Yeah,
we should post this on Rumble just in case.
What the hell is Rumble?
it's a YouTube alternative. You got me started. We've got a grand total, I think, 1 or 2 videos up on there, and I haven't looked at it since because it's too convoluted.
Oh, I thought Rumble was like a gay dating app or something. Like it sounds like, now that I mention it, it sounds like it.
Oh, go for a rumble in the sheets. Yeah, no, no, no.
Actually, Rumble is known for not to have so many regulations on people's video. So, you know, you could pretty much say anything we want. You know,
Anyway,
aside from the obvious.
Anyway, let's get back onto topic. As usual, we do go off topic very easily. We were investigating a notorious school in Fremantle years and years and years ago, and it's a school for troubled teens. So if they've been kicked out of normal schools and things like that, they go to this one. It's right near where people in WA will know, even though it's closed now, where Captain Munchies is in Fremantle. It's literally. I mean, I think we actually parked in the
Rest
Captain
in peace.
Munchies. Yes, I know they did the best chips and the worst burgers, but you still went there and you still ate them because it was Captain Munchies. You know. But anyway,
I wonder why they call it Captain Munchies.
that's been there for probably 20 years. That place. It was open 24 hours a day up until COVID. No. Well, it was a big thing. It was a big
I thought
thing
Fernando was doing a Rumble advert.
for the little man. We're getting in so much crap here.
The best bit is Gary understood what I was talking about straight away, and you were like,
Yeah. Anyway, yeah, a lot of people, because Jeremy and I both ride motorbikes and everything, it's a place where you always go and you have stopovers, and it's a good place to meet, because it used to be a free car park there. But after COVID hit, they restricted their hours down to 9 o'clock, and then people started going away. Then they started charging people to park in the car park there, so it killed it. You know, the good old dollar of the councils killed it. But just up the road from there is this school. Now, this building is probably 120, 130 years old, and it's actually got a bell tower at the top where, because we had a couple of the ladies that worked there who were filling us in on some of the activity that they had there during the day when there were actual students there and stuff that was going on, you know, to them, and that's why we came in. But we actually went up into this bell tower. They actually opened the trap door up and we were able to climb up, and it was really awesome. But we were focusing on the 3rd floor because this is where the recent activity had been happening, and we had stuff set up all over the place around there. But I remember walking and looking down, had this staircase that sort of squared its way down, and right at the bottom, as I looked down, where all of our bags and everything were, there was a full, I mean, I'm not talking about the lights were on down there, so it was light. I looked down and there was a shadow person looking down at the bags, and as I was looking over the top, I couldn't believe what I was seeing. And it just looked up at no eyes, you couldn't see any features, it was just a shadow, but you saw its head go like that. I got the chills go through me, my goosebumps, the hair started standing, and I thought, shit, I've got to go get a camera. And of course, as usual, come back with the camera and it's gone. But that thing, I'd like to say we stared each other eye to eye, but I couldn't see its eyes, but I knew it was looking straight at me. And that was a very freaky experience when you can't actually identify what it is you're looking at. You know what I mean? you know in your
There's
head
no face. There's nothing.
there's nothing there. It's just blackness, and you're looking and you know what you're seeing, but you can't. Your brain is still trying to quantify it. Even though I know it's a shadow person, your brain's still wanting to go, it's somebody in a hood or it's somebody this. But everything was locked up. There was no hood. There was no clothes. It was just a dark shadow in a lit up room. So it's not like a trick of the eye. It was quite freaky. That was quite freaky. In fact, I might actually reach out to them and see if we can get back in there for another investigation, because they're quite open to it.
Mm-hmm.
That's cool.
But that's why I asked if you'd ever seen the shadow person in an investigation.
I've seen it out of investigations as well.
Yeah.
Lots.
Like I said, I feel like I have. Sometimes it just, you kind of question what it is that you're seeing. So it's like, is it really there? I mean, I am a very harsh, I guess,
Critic of your own work.
yeah. Like,
You have to be.
I try and rationalize basically everything what I experience. And I'm gonna say, yeah, especially, one of the most active locations I've ever been in is Kings Park. And I keep on bringing this up because I've gone there like 10, 15 times and it never disappoints. And it's just, it's amazing. But yeah, as far as getting scratched, is it an attack per se?
Circumstantial.
Yeah, right.
Yeah. It depends.
Because
Yeah,
I've
exactly.
been scratched.
Circumstances. It depends on what's going on at the time as to whether you've drawn
Upset
it upon
them.
yourself, yeah, or whether it's just something else. Sometimes it can be just, hey, let you know I'm there and they've done this, and then it's left as marks.
Yeah.
But if it's an actual break the skin scratch, that's a little bit more aggressive. So it's.
I mean, because I've been scratched twice in two different locations. One, actually, both. I'm not gonna name, names. We all know what happens.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
but yeah, twice. And
Actually, I think I remember. You were talking about the backpack incident when we were out Jarado.
Yeah.
I'm pretty
yeah.
sure I got scratched that night as well, because I remember you saying. I remember saying my back was burning, and I think you said you
It was
saw
on
the
the
marks.
right hand side of your neck, I think it was.
Yeah, I had some on the lower back as well, which is weird.
so
but-
you see, that's awesome, because everybody that I have come across that has gotten scratched always says the same thing, that it feels like a burn.
yeah, they can feel that way.
Yes and no.
It's a scratch, but when somebody first scratches you, you feel your skin feels alive as you can feel it all happening. It's like when you're getting a tattoo, when you can feel that.
Carpet burn.
Yeah, carpet burn. Any trauma to the skin that breaks the skin will have a burning sensation, but yeah, it depends on the intent of what's going on. But yeah,
Well, I was under the Estes, and during that time I was like, I feel like a burn on my left arm. And when I got off, I went, thankfully it's all on camera. I went to check, and there it is. Sure enough, it's just one line. But the other place that I went to, I think I actually posted it on Facebook. Yes, I did. I think I posted it last week, on my neck. But it looked like it was like a freaking cat or something. It was multiple. So, but yeah, it's pretty cool.
that's pretty interesting stuff. That
So,
you go on.
just a quick another one. Fernando, so going on what you were saying about the whole house being haunted and feeling like people were watching and things moving around and going missing. Have you heard about the case that happened in Japan in about 2008? I'm pretty sure it was.
2008.
And then there was movies made about it afterwards.
What, like The Ring and
Are,
the.
Are you?
So-
no, not the ring, but Juno.
No. So in or somewhere near, I'm probably going to say this wrong, Fukuoka, in Japan.
Fukuoka, yeah.
No, man. F you, man. F you. No.
Fernando, your jokes aren't funny tonight. I'm not saying I'm professional, but anyway.
Computer says
So-
no.
So there's a sleepy town called Kasuya. Back then, an unnamed 57-year-old Japanese male was living a normal life in his flat. And then he started to notice his things going missing, things being moved around and not put back where they were. And he thought the house was haunted or there was something else at play. The crime rate, obviously back then in Japan, or even still now, the crime rate's extremely low compared to elsewhere. But he was wondering why his food was going missing, and his TV remote was never back where it was, and he couldn't figure out what the hell was going on. So he installed cameras in his house and found out there was a lady living in his house, eating his food and using his things when he wasn't around.
That sounds like a case that happened in England.
I heard about this.
It showed the shape of a person sneaking around his house. It was a woman, but her face was hard to see due to camera resolution. She started in the fridge, taking food and eating it, and this explained the missing contents in the fridge. As soon as the woman was finished eating, she moved to the couch and watched the television. Now he had a thief that stole his food and used the TV without permission, but unlike other trespassers, this one was kind enough to clean up as soon as she was done messing around in his living space. But no amount of housework would change the fact that she was a suspect thief. So, the police called, they searched the house, and they couldn't do anything about it because there was no trace of her being there apart from the camera footage. So the woman eventually was identified as Tatsuko Horikawa. She was a 58-year-old homeless person, and she needed a place to stay, found her house unlocked at one stage, and found herself a nice comfy place in the cupboard. One of the bedroom living spaces. So maybe when you're being watched, you're really being watched.
That's what they say. You are always.
And this is why Fernando has an irrational fear of closets.
No,
That's why Fernando came out of the closet.
it was definitely not a person.
No, I know it wasn't. I'm just making it funny.
Your jokes aren't very funny today. But here's one, and the only reason why it caught my attention is because it has to do with a 1,000-year-old house in England.
Yeah.
That could be Gary's old house.
The one we were going to buy, that was 400 or 600 years old. I can't remember. No, it was 400 and something years old, the one that we were looking at buying before we came to Australia.
400 BC.
No, not BC.
Oh man!
It was built in the 1600s.
That's about as old as you.
Yeah, nearly.
My sister used to live in a 1,000-year-old house in England. I honestly thought she was losing her mind when she kept telling me about the ghost that would purloin her items,
Do what?
move things around.
Yeah, well,
Yeah, come on, don't use fancy words. What does it mean? What was it doing to her items?
I'm just reading. Now, if you ask me,
the meaning of purloin in English is to steal something.
Wow, that's very fancy. Nice. I mean, you know, obviously the person
Very fancy.
probably having a sister in England, you know, probably from England, because they talk fancy.
No, they do not.
Yes, they do. Look at that purloin.
I come
So
from
purloin.
England.
So the difference is purloin stresses removing or carrying off for one's own use or purposes.
Yeah.
There you go.
So like pilfer.
You know, back in New York, we just say
Nick.
rob, steal. One day I was visiting and she said, "It's here." I and her 2 teenage daughters went to the foot of the stairs, and on the landing was a ball of fractal-looking light.
Yep.
Fractal-looking light. Possibly like, you know, one of those cat balls. About the size of a soccer ball. Wow. It slowly guided down the stairs past us. My dog had all her hackles up. and was clearly tracking it. And I felt something like a light brush of wind as it went past us into the living room and disappeared. I grabbed some pens and paper and asked everyone to stop speaking and write down what they had witnessed.
I thought she
We
said she
also
grabbed
had
some pants.
Gary.
That's what it is.
Hello,
You and
hello.
your American
Hello.
accent, or yeah.
But honestly, I have actually used this method also because it is
Putting on
interesting.
pants.
Pants off,
Like,
pants on, pants
you know,
off.
Grabbing pants.
I do it both legs at a time. People are weird doing it
Ooh,
one
wow.
leg at a time.
Both legs in one leg.
But
I do it 1 foot at a time.
I jump. I just jump. But if you're in a group, but if you're in a group and you know everybody kind of experiences something, it's a good idea to like don't say what it is, and everybody writes it down, and then
That's what I do.
It's a good way to confirm the activity.
Do you remember? Do you remember an episode that we did where we talked about a certain building, and I said it was that big that I sent people off in different teams, and I gave them a notepad with pen and paper, and I said you don't talk to each other until later in the night, and then you write down the room that you're in, the activity that's going on, and then about halfway through the night we'll all get back together, have a bit of a break, and we will compare notes, and that's where you find out the areas that are really interesting, and then the rest of the night you do teams that focus on those areas. But I have mentioned that before. It is a very underutilized method for getting credible information out of a location, and yes, I agree 100%. It should be done more
Unless
often.
Gary and I are in the same room and then we just copy each other's notes.
Yes.
That's
Took Fernando a little bit.
because a lot of the experiences unfortunately doesn't get captured on camera, or there are experiences where where you're watching something and somebody says, "Oh, I smell this." We can't smell it, so it'll be nice to to confirm that everybody's saying
Well, you were just saying that, right? We'll probably have to finish on this, but you know how you talk about personal experiences? There was one time when I had the wrong thing to eat before we did an investigation. I think this was at a certain location that echoed, and it was only small, but it was enough for
Unholy spirits.
It was enough for everybody to go, oh, did you hear that? Spirit, are you there? Can you show us a sign that you were there? And then it just...
Stunk.
It was something to behold. I can't, for the life of me, describe the sense or the sensation it gave, but everybody was going,
Pungent.
oh, that... It's kind of
Pungent.
a musky, damp, horrible kind of and I'm like, should I? Nah, I'll just let them have this one. So it was me. I dropped my guts, and they were all salivating in the experience of connecting with something. It wasn't meant to happen, but
You can't lie. It probably smelt like the undead.
it wasn't pleasant. No. It was,
The word you're looking for is pungent.
I wasn't going to use that word, but yes, I suppose that is one way of describing it. So, oh yeah, it was rancid. Is another word. Yeah.
Described by something has died up there. Go see a veterinarian.
Yeah, that's it. Need a colonoscopy. So,
Oh my god.
colonic irrigation to get that beast out. It's like an exorcism all in itself.
I'm kind of getting worried now, Gary. You're saying colonic, whatever you said, to get the beast out.
I've got so many things I can say right now, but I'm not going to do it because we are not going to drop our standards to that level.
Welcome to Rumble.
I don't know what happened then, but Fernando went green.
Envy.
Oh yeah. On that, I think we're out of time anyway. It's time for us to go, and happy Halloween, everybody. I hope you had a good one, and get out there and trick or treat. And what I was just talking about is certainly not a treat, it's more of a trick, but if you want to give it a stab, go for it. Probably the wrong use of words. So anyway, take it easy, guys.
Goodbye.
See you later, people.